guys, my name is Isaac Lockwood. Today I'm going to talk about something that we all start with. It's what every shooter, pistol shooter, starts with and should establish, and that is grip. So I'm going to go over just a few details on my grip, along with start with the fundamentals. So I'll grab your pistol, make sure it's clear. First of all, as we all know, you want to grip as high as you can on the lower with your webbing between your pointer and your thumb, as high up against that beaver tail as possible, eliminating any space. Same with your middle finger. You want it coming up under the trigger guard, eliminating any space. And I like to, a little added bonus, sometimes I'll stack hard, meaning, I don't know if I can show this. So sometimes when I grip the gun and I need a really solid grip for maybe some speed shooting, something that's really close and I'm going to be ripping the pistol really fast, I'm going to stack these fingers up a little higher so my middle finger has less room to come up into that trigger guard. So it'll get in there, just with the pressure and the shooting, it'll get in there. So it's high and tight, creating a lot of pressure as high as I can. So that's going to get a firm, solid grip with my support hand in this case, or my dominant hand, sorry, and then which is going to be my right hand. So once you have that with your right hand, a few other things I'll go over first that before I get to the left hand. For me, I used to do what most people I see do when they start, and that's like a baseball bat. They get this grip where they eliminate any space around that pistol frame. So they've got it sucked in there tight, which feels good. It feels solid. It feels like that pistol can't go anywhere where you shoot it, except for it doesn't actually do anything for recoil. You think it does. It feels like it does because you're gripping it like a club, you know, and you know I'm stronger that way, so I'm going to grip it real hard. But the problem is it doesn't. So a few reasons why I believe it doesn't is, one, if you shoot bows, like compound bows or any type of bows, when you pull that string back, you don't grip the bow portion. Let's see if I can do it. I'll do it with my right hand. But you're not going to grip it. If this is the bow and I'm pulling that string back, you're not going to grip it like this and have that try to come straight back at your face. What you're going to do is you're going to rotate your wrist to support all that tension, like so. You're going to actually rotate your hand behind the gun and behind the bow if you were shooting it, so that you can pull back that string and it's going right into your wrist and against your forearm bones, and that's going to take away a lot of the pressure that you would have to use to grip it, to control it the same way you would. So that's one little tip. One is stacking, the other is rotating your hand more behind the pistol to accept that recoil, to manage that recoil for you, so you don't even have to. What that does, a couple other things, it brings your fingers from the side of the gun to the front of the gun. The importance of that, in my opinion, is that when your fingers are on the side of the gun and you try to pull that trigger, we have sympathetic movement that we know about. It creates flinching, it creates low left shots. And when you pull those fingers to the front, now you've got, even with the same flinching, it's straight back, meaning your sights stay on target. They don't go low left. It comes straight back. Well, even if your sights are coming straight back, they're still on target. So when you have sympathetic movement, but it's coming straight back into your palm, it's a much higher probability you're still going to hit the target you're aiming at. Your sights are going to move much less. So even if they do move, which it is much more minimal. And what that does, if you have bigger hands, is it creates a space on this side of the pistol. So the palm side, you're going to have a little gap. This is exaggerated so you can see it here, but as you see, my fingers are more on the front of the pistol, and the pressure is front to back. That's very important. Not just shooting two hands, but especially when you get to single hand shooting. Same grip, whether it's your non-dominant or your dominant hand, you're going to have front to back pressure is very important, so you can pull that trigger straight back, and any flinching is much more obvious when you shoot single-handed, which is why we all hate it for the most part. That's going to eliminate a lot of that. So concentrate your pressure front to back while you're shooting and pulling that trigger. So with that gap there, the biggest helpful thing that it does is it opens up this whole side of the pistol. So now I have all this real estate over here that your left hand, we know our left hand takes that up. Right, we know that. So what I do, and what most everybody already knows, is you lock down that joint. So you take all the movement out of your support hand by pointing your fingers down, essentially. So that's what I do. The other thing is I don't necessarily just point my fingers down. What I like to look at is there's a bone right here, this bone. and you can put your thumb straight at the target. That helps, but you can kind of see this bone right here. It's going to be different on everybody. I get that high up on the slide, right up next to that slide, and that's where I want my left hand. Then the fingers wrap around and they overlap your dominant hand's fingers, and you squeeze. Actually, it's a lateral squeeze. So your dominant hand is front to back, and your support hand is side to side. So it's kind of, you get pressure from all sides with this grip, and it really manages the recoil very well. So got the right hand grip, left hand comes up high. I've eliminated all the movement in my joint by pointing my fingers down and getting it high up against that slide or real close to it. And now I just find my sights and simply relax and pull that trigger. It's all trigger management at that point. Then you have no movement in your sights when you pull that shot off. So just a couple things, a lot to go over. I try to go over it real quick. Don't want it to be a super long video, but try them out, see what you think. Main thing is fingers to the front. Dominant hand is front to back pressure. If you have bigger hands, you're going to have a gap, which is fine. Get used to it. Getting your palm, especially the meat of your lower portion of your thumb, behind the pistol instead of on the side of the pistol. Make sure that's behind it, so it accepts that recoil, manages it much better. And the weekend, eliminating the movement in the joint, taking up the real estate, getting it high as possible. And you're going to have front to back and side to side pressure on your pistol for when you're shooting it. And that's the best way I have found to manage the recoil, muzzle flip, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, it's just, the point is to bring your sights back to the target as fast as possible and as consistently as possible. So not just eliminating movement in the sights when you're shooting, but bringing those sights back so you can repeat it much faster. So try it out. Let me know what you think.